everybody, and welcome to our continuing coverage of Brown Athletics Media Days for our fall sports teams. I'm your host, Scott Cordischi. Glad you could join us today. We are going to take a look at our women's rugby program as they get set for the 2023/24 season. 15s in the fall, 7s in the spring. Looking forward to talking to some of the student athletes for this year's team. So I hope you can stay with us. We'll also talk to their head coach. But first things first, why don't we take a look back at 2022 for the Bears and see how that went. In 15s, the Bears had a pretty impressive showing in the fall. Well, they were 3-4-1, but then they went 3-0 in 15s matches in the spring. And then, of course, in the 7s, they had a terrific spring going 9-3 before running the table at the CRC National 7s, where they defeated Army for the national title. But, you know, all in all for Rosalind Chow, I think a pretty successful year one as head coach of this program. You see the overall record 18-7-1, and again that 2023 CRC 7s national championship, the first for the program. So very, very exciting first year for Rosalind Chow and the Bears, setting the stage for what could be an exciting 2023-24 campaign. And as we take a look at the schedule for the Bears this upcoming season, the home schedule that is, they will open things up against Princeton at the Burleson Family Fields. That is the football practice fields on September the 2nd. So they will not be down at Marvel. They will instead be at Burleson Fields for that Princeton match. They will then hit the road for 3 straight before closing the 15's regular season at home with 3 in a row against Navy, Penn State, and Dartmouth. So as you can see, this is a schedule with teams that have some pretty good pedigree, if you will, and a challenging schedule for the Bears in the fall during the 15 season. And we are going to see what the Bears are made of with that stiff schedule ahead of them. But it should be a lot of fun watching Brown women's rugby compete this year. We are going to take a look at some of the key returners for this year's team as well. And there are a number of key returners to this year's team, led by Akila Cathy, the junior from Memphis, Tennessee. 6 tries last fall. That was second best on the team. Nikki Lynch, the junior from Lafayette, California, had 5 tries, which is third best on the team. Her father, Dan, played football for the Denver Broncos. A little interesting tidbit there on Nikki. Julia Murray, sophomore from Liberty, Illinois, started 7 matches last fall, had a team-high 17 conversions. And Noelle Lewis, the senior from Vienna, Virginia, 8 tries last fall, and that was tops on the team. The key loss, and it is a big one, Maktia Parker. What an amazing career she had here at Brown. She's now playing rugby professionally, but just a superb person with amazing talent. She was a finalist for the Moss Sorensen Award last year, so that will be a big loss for the Bears and big shoes to fill, but a lot of key returners that I think will help fill that void for Maktia this upcoming season. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to be joined by the Bears head coach Rosalind Chow when we continue with our coverage of Women's Rugby Media Day right after this.
We are the change makers, the rebels, the champions. To be a Bear is to possess brains and brawn. To be a Bear is to have an insatiable hunger to win, in sports and in life. We are indomitable, unshakable, and unstoppable. We don't just play the game, we change it. Our style is not for everyone. We buck the status quo, we push the boundaries, we think and play outside the box. We are innovators, trailblazers, and leaders. We take our work seriously with unparalleled focus, unmatched humility, and unequaled joy. We are an uplifting community that empowers self-discovery in a way that makes everyone better. All on a campus that exhibits an inspiring spirit of creativity and collaboration. We are the Brown Bears, ever reaching, ever curious, ever resilient, ever true. Together, we roar.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Women's Rugby Media Day here at Brown University. Scott Cordischi with you, and we are happy to be joined right now by the head coach of our women's rugby program, Rosalind Chow. Roz, how are you?
I'm quite well. Happy to be here.
Well, it's great to see you, and congratulations on what was a very successful year one. I mean, to cap it off with a CRC National Sevens Championship, that had to be pretty cool.
That is a way to finish a season.
Yeah,
that is. So I'm really happy with how it went. We got better every week. The group just learned as much as they could. They were like sponges, so really happy with year one.
So I know in the fall, 15s probably didn't go as well as you would have hoped, but the spring was obviously spectacular, capped off by that championship, and I think you also won 3 15s matches in the spring as well, right?
We did.
So steady progress from the fall to the spring?
Absolutely. So they really started to adopt our new systems, and we got to see that in practice in the spring.
All right, big picture. So year one as head coach of the program, I know you're probably trying to establish a culture, a way of doing things. Forget about the national championship for a second, but just overall, based upon what you were hoping to get accomplished in year one, how did it go?
It went very well. I mean, really coming out after a year losing Kathy, the team had been through a lot, so it was what is our identity, where are we going next, and kind of building upon that. That was really all I wanted. I thought we did pretty well, considering a lot of seniors graduating, whole new coaching staff coming in. So overall, just really pleased with how it all went, and a real credit to the team, and something special for Kathy in the end there. You
have a lot of key returners, which is nice to the program. Some pretty big shoes to fill as well, with Makdia Parker graduating. So I don't know if one person can replace Makdia. It might have to be a team effort, right?
Right. And certainly we have a lot of talent coming back, and we have a great incoming class.
Yeah.
So half of them are backs, and so obviously Makdia was a huge contributor there. So we have some folks to choose and see how they fit in, and some veterans coming back to really push the pace there and put their name forward. And then we lost 3 forwards there, so big loss, 3 starters in the 15 squad, so half the class are forwards as well, so really seeing what they can bring to the table.
How did your first full year of recruiting go?
It went really well. I'm really happy. They're all great human beings, first and foremost. So really great human beings, really excited to be here at Brown, and all willing and ready to contribute right away.
That opener is not too far away, September 2nd against Princeton. I know you have an exhibition before that, but just give us your goals, your expectations. What are you looking for from the team this year? So
what I'd really like to do is for them to really start establishing a kind of swagger. And what does it mean to be Brown Rugby? And what does that mean from them as individuals and collectively as a team? So what are their core values that they want to build upon? Because we had a very successful spring. So how do they want to bring that into the fall and integrate a big class of 10 new incoming freshmen? So
it's been real exciting, Coach, because we've talked to a few first-year coaches, or now second-year coaches like yourself. We talked to Chase from men's soccer. We talked to Britt from field hockey. And the exciting thing for me is I feel like year one for all of you went very well to different degrees and for different reasons, but it leaves me excited for what the future holds for your program and for theirs as well.
Yes, very excited, and we're garnering some attention from how the spring went, and we think that we'll just build on that for even more exciting recruiting classes for every year to come, and so it really is the start of something special. I can't wait for the season to start. Roz, good luck against Princeton and this fall in 15s, next spring in 7s, and thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. All right, Rosalind Chow, head women's rugby coach, our guest. When we come back, we're going to talk to some of Coach Chow's student athletes when we continue with our coverage of Women's Rugby Media Day right after this.
Another beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Southern New England. Firing deep down the left side, has a man open, caught, touchdown, Graham Walker. And he is going to be dropped in the backfield. Fires to the end zone, caught, touchdown. He breaks loose, touchdown. Wow. The local kid, Nate Lucier, breaks in for the Bears and puts them on.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of Women's Rugby Media Day here at Brown University. I'm your host, Scott Cordischi. It will not be long before the Bears open up the season September the 2nd at Barrelson Family Fields against the Princeton Tigers. And we're happy to be joined by a few of the student athletes from this year's team. We have, sitting in the middle from a senior from the Bronx, New York, Ashley Amparo. Ashley, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. And to your right, we have a junior from Lafayette, California, Nikki Lynch.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, thank you for joining us. And to my immediate right, we have a sophomore from Libertyville, Illinois, Julia Murray. Julia, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you all for joining us. This must be an exciting time of the year, right? Getting ready for another season. Who wants to answer that one? You're on the spot.
Okay. Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm just really excited to be back with the team. I think there was some great things that happened during Nationals and just kind of like applying all of that to 15s. Super exciting.
So since you bring up Nationals, yes, you guys won the CRC Sevens National Championship last spring. I guess I'll ask you this question. Nikki, what was that like for you, that whole experience, just seeing the team win a championship?
It was so surreal. It was about time that we proved our skills and how much work we've put in since the switch of the coaches, and so I think it really showed everyone that we're a real competitor within the league.
And year one for Coach Chow, too, and I don't think it could have gone much better the way you guys finished, right?
No, definitely not.
And what was it like, with Rosalind year one? I'm sure, she came in and replaced the legend, right? We all know and we all loved Kathy Flores, God rest her soul, and, big shoes to fill, but how did Coach Roz do?
Coach Roz loves to incorporate Kathy's name into motivating us to do better, and I think that's really important to the team. But I think she really worked miracles on setting up a whole new game system and style of play with us, and already seeing the reward for that within the first year here. So I think it really speaks volumes as to how influential she is for the sport.
Ashley, your career here at Brown is almost a microcosm of what life's like. It's a roller coaster, right? Mm-hmm. There's many ups, there's many downs. You come in as a freshman, no season, COVID, right? We lose Kathy Flores. You win the CRC National Sevens last year, an ultimate high. I mean, just talk about your 3+ years here and what that's been like. I mean, because there's been many ups and some downs as well.
Yeah, I mean, even like mentioning the CRCs, like I wasn't there because I was abroad. Yeah. So it is like everything has been like up and down. But I think that's like one of the best things about being a student athlete here too. Is just with this team too, kind of just enjoying those moments, taking in those moments with the team whenever we can. So, yeah.
So I don't know who wants to take this one, but we do have pretty big shoes to fill with Makdia having graduated, right? I mean, she was a special talent, right? Yes. I mean, does one person replace Makdia, or is it a collective effort? The whole team has to pick up the slack.
I think it's definitely will be a collective effort of trying to all piece together her skill set and all of us working together to create a Makdia, but I don't think one person's going to be able to take her place.
You had a pretty tremendous first year yourself on the program. I think you led the team in conversions with 17 last fall. Don't know what your expectations were coming in and how much you'd play or how much of a contributor you'd be, but I mean, from an outsider's point of view, it seemed like things went very well for you last year. How would you describe your season individually and, of course, that of the team?
I would say that definitely coming in, I was not expecting, to start, wasn't expecting that much, but I was really grateful to get that opportunity. And 15s didn't necessarily go our way. We lost a couple games and didn't finish the way that we wanted to finish, but I think that we still had, we were still proud of each other and proud of the way that we played. And then going into the 7th season, obviously, we performed much better on a board with the wins and stuff. But I would say that both seasons were incredible, and that I was really proud of my team for.
So you said you weren't here for sevens in the spring?
No.
Okay. Do you have a preference? Do any of you have a preference? 15 sevens? I know sevens is more wide open, right? There's less bodies on the field, more room to operate. Do you have a preference?
I actually really love sevens. So part of the reason I left was to kind of give my body a break because there have been injuries along the way too.
Sure.
But I actually really love sevens, but I've grown to love 15s more and more with the team. And like this new structure that we're playing is like really exciting. So
you mentioned injuries. They are definitely part of the sport that you play,
for
aren't
sure.
they? I mean, there's no doubt about it. You, I don't know if rugby's in the family, but your dad played football. Is that right, in the NFL for the Broncos?
Yes, that is completely right, yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your introduction to the sport of rugby. When did that happen? At what age?
I moved to the States from the Czech Republic, and that's the year when I was trying to look for a new sport, and just like probably 90% of the team, I got approached by a girl that was like, you look like you'd be really good at rugby. So I came out to a practice, and turns out that that's exactly the kind of people I was trying to surround myself by when I moved. And so that's how I stuck to the sport.
I understand you were a pretty good field hockey player, too?
Yes, I was on the national Czech team.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you have options? I mean, was rugby your favorite sport, or did you have trouble deciding which you wanted to continue to play?
I kind of burned out with how much they had me play over there, and I decided that I don't really like sitting in the post. I'm more of a runner, and so rugby really allowed me to use my like physicality that I liked to like use as a goalie. So it was a good transition.
Julie, you played basketball and volleyball in high school as well?
Yes.
Was rugby always your favorite or best sport?
Yeah, I've grown up playing rugby since like I was like 8, and I've played like other sports over time with it, but rugby was always just like a hobby that I really liked, and I had to like work to find a team in Illinois. I had to drive like 2 hours to go to my practices, but I did that because I love the sport so much. Like I definitely would have never done that for basketball or volleyball. And then I just quit basketball and volleyball and decided that I'm going to stick to rugby because I don't think that any sport is like it.
Ashley, you're the lone senior in this group.
Yeah.
What's your concentration?
I'm concentrating in Africana Studies and International Public Affairs.
And do you have any idea what you'd like to do after graduation?
Definitely probably will be going to grad school. That's kind of where I'm at, figuring it out.
Sure.
But definitely grad school.
What will you miss most about your time here at Brown, whether it be as part of the rugby team or socially or academically? What will you miss most?
I think I'll miss the people most, just like the people on the team, my friends outside of the team. I think Brown is a really special place because of the people. Like without the people, it wouldn't be what it is. So I think just like being in such close proximity with like all of these amazing people all the time would be the thing I miss the most.
Nikki, the season's going to start pretty quickly here. Do you set any individual goals, or as a team, do you set team goals?
We do. Before every single game, before every single practice, we always set goals, and we do our best to achieve them. And so I think that that's really what's driven our progress this season.
Julie, what's the ceiling for this team? I mean, what are your expectations this fall with 15s?
I think that we can do whatever we set our minds to, and I think that this team is really going up right now, and Coach Chow is just getting started, and I think that this preseason we're definitely going to be putting in the work and then we're going to try and show that during our first few games of the season.
So I mentioned, I believe the opener against Princeton is on the Barrelson practice fields, correct? Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of a different animal, so to speak, right? Because a football field's a lot narrower than a rugby pitch, is it not? Mm-hmm. So how do you adjust your game accordingly when you're playing on a football field as opposed to a rugby field?
That's a great question. I think there has to be a lot more physical contact when it comes to that, and I do think that they're extending the field a little just to accommodate to the sport, but it definitely puts the pressure on how hard you're hitting in the game.
And turf as opposed to natural grass, turf a little less forgiving, or?
I'd say so. It's less forgiving.
Yeah.
It's harsher on the impact when you hit the ground.
Yeah. Well, September the 2nd is going to come around real quickly. A 4 o'clock start at Barrelson Family Fields against the Princeton Tigers. Good luck in that one, and good luck for the entire season, and good luck to you with grad school and whatever your future might hold.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a couple of more members of the team join us, and they are from very far away. I'll explain when we continue right after this.
We are the change makers, the rebels, the champions. To be a bear is to possess brains and brawn. To be a bear is to have an insatiable hunger to win, in sports and in life. We are indomitable, unshakable, and unstoppable. We don't just play the game, we change it. Our style is not for everyone. We buck the status quo, we push the boundaries, we think and play outside the box. We are innovators, trailblazers, and leaders. We take our work seriously with unparalleled focus, unmatched humility, and unequaled joy. We are an uplifting community that empowers self-discovery in a way that makes everyone better. All on a campus that exhibits an inspiring spirit of creativity and collaboration. We are the Brown Bears, ever reaching, ever curious, ever resilient, ever true. Together, we roar.
Welcome back to Brown Women's Rugby Media Day. I'm your host, Scott Cordischi. Glad you could join us. And as promised, we have a couple of student athletes here that are a long way from home here in Providence, Rhode Island. They come to us from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show. To my immediate right, we have a first-year student athlete, Tate Muller. Tate, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for joining us. And to your right, we have a junior from Dubai, and Jania Vandervoort. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm forever butchering names, so I'm happy I got it right.
Mine's a hard one, don't worry.
So you're both from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, a long way from home. How did you wind up here at Brown? We'll start with you, Tate.
I love rugby, so I was like, I got to take this to university. And in the UK, it's not the same if the training's either like you join a team and it's kind of amateur, and then if you're recruited for a professional team, you're recruited at like 15. So it was kind of like, if I can't do the UK, where else can I go? And I know the sports culture is just so huge in the US. That's what I think initially drew me.
Okay, and you're South African?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And what about you? How did you wind up here at Brown?
So I am half American. My mom was from the U.S. She grew up in Maine, which is pretty close to Rhode Island.
Sure.
So I'm definitely like New England girl at heart. I used to spend my summers here. One summer in 2018, my mom was always putting me in camps, knew we loved rugby. She found this rugby camp at Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way I'm going to end up at Brown. Like, that'll never happen, but I'll play rugby at Brown for a weekend. So I did. Absolutely loved it. Kind of forgot about it. And then when I was applying to colleges, I was like, wait, I played rugby at Brown and I loved it. Why don't I just do that? And so I reached out to Kathy and Christina at the time, and we just got to talking. And I'm so glad I ended up here.
How much do you miss Kathy?
She changed so many of my best friends' lives.
Yeah.
My absolute sisters, people that I would literally die for. We are eternally grateful to her. We miss her a ton. Yeah.
What was it, the saying on the T-shirt? Something nobody cares. What was her saying?
Nobody cares, work harder.
Work harder. Nobody cares, work harder. I love that.
Words to live by.
I love that. And we're very lucky here at Brown to have found a great replacement in Coach Chow. And what a great season it was for the team last year, capping it off with the CRC National Sevens Championship. What was that whole experience like?
I think Nikki said it earlier, but it was surreal. Like, the best moment of my entire life, hands down. There's nothing that comes close to it. I think Coach Chow did what had to be done.
Yep.
She came in and she made her statement, and she said, this is the kind of team we are. Defense wins championships, and we did.
So, Tate, you mentioned, wanting to experience the American sports culture, and you kind of pursued that by going to Dubai. Let me ask you this before I get to that question. Dubai, I've only seen pictures. It looks like a gorgeous city, like clean, vibrant, beautiful. What is it like? Am I interpreting it correctly from the pictures I've seen of it, or you both can tell us?
Yeah, it looks like the photos.
It does.
It's a surreal place to live in. It's a huge privilege. It's really, really safe. It's clean.
Hot though, right?
Super hot. Everybody travels. Everybody leaves for the summer. But yeah.
I think also something that is not talked about Dubai, because you don't know unless you're there, is that everyone there is from different places.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's probably similar at Tate's school, but my school had 90 nationalities, K to 12. So my best friends were from all over the world, and that really opened my mind when I was younger to different cultures and traveling. I've been to like 40 countries. Like it's an experience unlike anything that I've heard of people having.
Do you prefer 7s over 15s? Because it looks like your high school experience was more 7s, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Or do you like 15s better?
It's really challenging. I love them both so much. I think I probably prefer 15s just because it's more strategic and there's more you can do. 7s is more of like just running, like are you fast, are you strong? But 15s, there's really a place for everyone, and there's just a lot more you can do with more people. There's more to it. It's longer.
Tate, did you only play 7s in high school, or is it 7s and 15s?
Yeah, at the moment in the UAE it's just 7s for women's rugby. At the time, I think it's because it was such a small sport, we purely just did not have the numbers to play 15s, but now the sport's really reached it, so I think this year they're trying to do a 15 season as well. But yeah, I've only played 7s.
Okay, I understand looking at your bio. You enjoy running, reading, and cooking. First of all, give me one of your favorite books that you've ever read, if you like to read.
Gifted Hands. I'm terrible with names. I forgot who it's by. It was like I read it like 5-6 years ago, but it was just a great book.
Okay,
yeah.
And what do you like to cook?
I'm mostly vegetarian, so I love curry.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you'll have to go. There's a place on Thayer Street. Is it kebab and curry? Right?
Yeah.
You've already been there?
Yeah.
Oh, you have heard.
Yeah.
You haven't been yet.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Okay. And then, how about you? What are your hobbies outside of rugby?
I've gotten really into running recently, especially this summer. And I also love reading. Favorite book is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Nice.
So good. Also the Harry Potter series, gotta mention that. And then I'm not cooking inclined, but I love to travel. I love to hike. I love to go camping, just be outdoors.
Well, Maine's a perfect state for doing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I spent my summer in Wyoming, so I got to do a lot of outdoorsy things.
Oh,
so I'm
nice.
super into that right now.
You mentioned you used to summer in Maine. Whereabouts in Maine?
Southern Maine, Kennebunk Port.
Oh, it's
just
beautiful.
on the water.
I
It's
know
gorgeous.
it. I've been up there many, many times. I know it very, very well. The season is about to start. For you, it'll be your first season here at Brown. You'll be entering your junior campaign. Is there an excitement for the start of the season?
It's bittersweet, even though I'm not a senior. I'm like, how am I halfway already? But I'm so thrilled to be back with my family, doing the thing that I love, and getting the chance to go to school here too.
How about you?
I'm just super excited to join a team where there's such a high drive towards academics and sport. So it'll just be, I'm excited to meet everyone and get going.
How are your time management skills? Because obviously you'll have to juggle the academics and the athletics, right?
Yeah.
You'll have some help from your teammates.
Definitely, but I always tend to lead more to rugby, but I know I'll get it right.
And Jania, what is your concentration?
I am double concentrating in computer science and statistics.
Ideally, what would you like to do in 2 years from now? You've got a ways away, but...
I'm really torn. I either want to go to grad school or do something like software engineering or data science. But regardless of whether or not I go to grad school, I'll definitely be doing something like data science.
Tate, have you come here with an idea as to what you'd like to major in, or you're going to kind of explore things and then decide at the end of your sophomore year?
I love economics and international relations, so I'd love to explore that, but also the classes are so vast, I'd also like to explore them.
Yeah, the open curriculum makes it nice, so you can kind of explore and really find out what your passion is.
Yeah.
Well, September the 2nd, it gets underway against Princeton. I know you have an exhibition before that, but good luck against the Tigers and this season, and thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, and that's going to wrap up our coverage of Women's Rugby Media Day here at Brown University. I want to thank all the student athletes and Coach Chow for joining us. My name is Scott Cordischi. Have a great night, everybody.